everyone, it's Donnett with Embroidery.com. In today's Easy Stitch video, I am going to answer the question of what size scroll rod should I use for my project. This is one of the most common questions I get asked. So let's jump right in. As a rule of thumb, I recommend that your scroll rods are at least 2 inches longer than the width of your fabric. So if your fabric is 26 wide by 12 high, I would suggest that your scroll rods are at least 28 inches. This way you have an inch on either side of your fabric, enough to fit your fingers in to scroll it up, but you have plenty of space between the edge of your fabric and your sidebar. And for overall tension, with more space for your fabric, you will get better tension. So on my example here, my fabric is 18 inches wide. The scroll rods I have it on are 22 inches wide. So you can see I have plenty of space on either side of my fabric between that and the scroll rods. And you can see that the tension is really nice and tight. So let's try it on some 18-inch scroll rods as well as some 20-inch scroll rods. Now, of course, you know the best thing about the Easy Stitch tape is you can remove your projects so easy. So here will just slip my fabric right off the scroll rods, place the 18-inch ones on, and we'll see how they work. Now, my fabric is actually a little bit bigger than 18 inches wide. So these scroll rods are exactly 18 inches. I've got about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch more on my fabric than I do the rods. So let me show you what happens when you have something like that. So you can see I placed the fabric all the way to one edge on the scroll rod, and the other one is, overlapping on the sidebar a bit. Now, as I scroll it up, you can see how it's kind of getting wrinkly. It's not pulling very evenly because I'm trying to fit too much fabric on short rods. Now, because I have the extra fabric and everything, no matter what I do to scroll this up, it's not going to be even because the fabric doesn't have the space it needs to get the nice even tension that we want. Okay, once I've got it scrolled up, I'm going to do my trick of pushing down in the center. But you're going to notice that the scroll rods are very wrinkly. The fabric has totally wrinkled up on the scroll rods themselves. And I'm only getting tension in certain places. Like the middle is like super, super saggy. The tension on the sides are really, really tight. And again, this is because there's too much fabric on the scroll rod. I won't be able to get the tension all the way across evenly as I would with larger scroll rods. Okay, so now let's try some 20-inch scroll rods. Okay, so I've got the 20-inch scroll rods placed on the sidebars. Okay, now I'm going to place my fabric on the scroll rods. You can see I've got about 1 inch on either side, which is pretty much exactly what you'll need. Now, of course, you can always put smaller projects on larger rods. I do it all the time, and it works out fine. Putting larger projects on scroll rods, as you can tell, it doesn't work. The fabric just does not have the space it needs to be able to get the tension that we like. You can see as I'm scrolling it around the rod, it's scrolling up really nice and easy. There's no wrinkles, there's no layover. The fabric's not laying over the sidebar. And as you can tell, I'm going to get the tension that I like completely even from side to side. So now once I've got all 4 knobs tightened down, I'm going to go ahead and push down in the middle. This, of course, will cinch it up on either side. And then I'll go ahead and scroll up the rod again. Now this is going to give me that nice tension that we like, that we want with the scroll frames. Okay, I hope that answers a couple questions on what size of scroll rod should I use for my project. Make sure you turn your notifications on, as that's how you'll know a new video is up. And as always, I love to hear your comments and suggestions, so leave those for me below. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Happy stitching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!